The girl had learned to survive on silence. At just 16, hunger had become her closest companion, following her through cold streets and empty nights. Her clothes were thin, torn at the edges, and her shoes barely held together. She hadn't eaten properly in 2 days, only a half piece of bread someone had thrown away. Every step she took felt heavier than the last, but she kept walking, driven by one simple need: food. That morning, rain soaked her hair and skin as she passed through a wealthy neighborhood she had never dared to enter before. Tall gates, polished cars, and manicured gardens mocked her reality. She normally avoided places like this. People here didn't see homeless girls as human. They saw problems. But hunger silences pride. Her eyes stopped at the largest mansion on the street. It stood like a palace, white walls, golden gates, security cameras quietly watching. The smell of food drifted faintly from inside, warm and unbearable. Her stomach twisted painfully. She hesitated. Every bad memory returned at once: doors slammed in her face, insults shouted, guards chasing her away. But something inside whispered, "Just try." With trembling hands, she walked to the gate and pressed the intercom. Her voice barely came out. "Please. I'm sorry to disturb you. I just need something to eat." There was silence. Long enough for regret to settle in. She turned slightly, preparing to leave, when the gate suddenly buzzed. "Come inside," a cold voice said. Her heart raced. She didn't know whether to be afraid or relieved. As the gates slowly opened, she stepped into a world that felt unreal: marble paths, fountains, and silence so clean it felt heavy. She had no idea that this step, taken out of desperation, was about to change her life forever. The mansion doors opened before she even knocked. A man in a tailored black suit stood there, tall and expressionless. He looked at her the way people usually did, with suspicion, calculation, distance. "What do you want?" he asked. She swallowed. "Food, sir. That's all." He studied her for a moment longer, then stepped aside. 5 minutes. Inside, the air smelled of polished wood and expensive cologne. Chandeliers glowed softly above her, and her muddy shoes felt like a crime against the marble floor. She tried to shrink herself, afraid her presence might offend the walls themselves. A maid silently placed a plate of food on the table: rice, chicken, bread. The sight almost made her cry. She waited for permission, hands clenched tightly. "Eat," the man said shortly. She didn't need to be told twice. She ate slowly at first, ashamed of how badly she wanted to rush. But hunger won. Each bite felt like survival returning to her body. The man watched her from across the room, arms crossed. He was young for a billionaire, early 40s perhaps, sharp eyes, a face carved by discipline rather than warmth. Something about her unsettled him, though he couldn't explain why. As she finished eating, her eyes wandered around the room. Expensive paintings lined the walls, art she didn't understand. Then, suddenly, she froze. Her breath caught. On the far wall, among the masterpieces, hung a small framed photograph. It was of her. Not as she was now, but as a little girl. Clean. Smiling. Holding a red balloon. Her plate slipped slightly as her hands began to shake. That picture," she whispered. The man turned, following her gaze. His body stiffened. And for the first time since she entered, his face lost all color. She stood up slowly, walking toward the photograph as if afraid it might disappear. Every step felt unreal. Her heart pounded so loudly she thought the man might hear it. "That's me," she said softly. The room seemed to close in. The man walked toward the wall and stared at the photo like he was seeing it for the first time, even though it had been there for years. His voice came out hoarse. "That's impossible." But it wasn't. The girl touched the frame with trembling fingers. "I was 7. My mother took that photo at the park. She said I looked happy that day. The man's knees weakened. He remembered that day too, every second of it. Years ago, before wealth and power hardened him, he had lost a little girl in a crowded park. His daughter. Taken from him during the darkest chapter of his life, when his business enemies destroyed everything he loved. He searched for years. Police reports. Orphanages. Private investigators. Nothing. Until hope slowly died. I never stopped looking, he whispered, voice breaking. I thought you were gone. The girl turned to him, tears streaming down her face. You're my father? He nodded, unable to speak. She remembered him suddenly, his laughter, the way he lifted her onto his shoulders, the promise that he would always protect her. That promise had broken, but not disappeared. She collapsed into his arms, sobbing. Years of abandonment, hunger, and loneliness poured out in that moment. He held her tightly, as if afraid she might vanish again. I'm so sorry, he whispered again and again. I failed you. But she shook her head. You found me. And in that moment, the mansion that once felt cold finally felt like home. That night, they sat together for hours. She told him everything. After she was taken, she had been moved between unsafe homes, shelters, and streets. Her mother had died searching for her. No one ever told her the truth about her father, only that she was unwanted. He listened, tears running freely now, guilt crushing his chest. While he was building an empire, his daughter was fighting to survive. I should have protected you, he said quietly. You're protecting me now, she replied. He ordered doctors, warm clothes, and a room prepared just for her. But the most important thing wasn't money, it was presence. He stayed by her side all night, afraid sleep might steal her away again. For the first time in years, she slept without fear. The days that followed were slow and careful. Trust doesn't return instantly after years of pain. She flinched at loud sounds, ate cautiously, and slept with the light on. But he was patient. He canceled meetings, ignored calls, and chose her, every day. They shared meals. He listened. He learned who she had become. Slowly, laughter returned. She went to school. She wore clean clothes. She smiled again. The world saw a billionaire reunited with his daughter, but what mattered was something simpler. A girl who no longer had to beg. Months later, the photo was moved, from the wall of memories to her bedroom. She stood beside him one evening, watching the city lights. I was scared that day, she said. But I'm glad I pressed the gate. He smiled softly. So am I. He placed his hand on her shoulder. I promise you, no matter what happens, I will never lose you again. And this time, the promise stayed.